Greetings of the season to everyone. To create a better world by 2030, India, along with other countries, signed the Declaration on the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, comprising of 17 Sustainable Development Goals at the Sustainable Development Summit in the United Nations in September 2015. It's an urgent call for action by every country to end poverty, fight inequality, ensure peace and prosperity to all people, and protect the planet by addressing the urgency of climate change. Since its adoption, 6 years now, and we have more work than ever to do. Guided by these goals, it's now up to all of us, governments, business, civil society, and the general public, to work together to build a better future for our own selves and for the generations to come. The idea of sustainability dates back to the early 20th century in the era of industrial revolution when two opposing views had emerged within the environmental movement. One of the views was to conserve environment and the other view to preserve the environment. Conservation sought to regulate human use, while preservation sought to eliminate human impact altogether. Sustainable development, this concept was coined in the United Nations Conference on the Human Environment in Stockholm 1972, explicitly to suggest that it was possible to achieve economic growth and industrialization without environmental damage. Over these decades, the definition of sustainable development evolved. The Birdland Report defined sustainable as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. This definition captured two fundamental issues: the problem of the environmental degradation that is so commonly accompanies economic growth, and yet the need for such growth to alleviate poverty. In June 1992, at the Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, more than 178 countries adopted Agenda 21, a comprehensive plan of action to build a global partnership for sustainable development to improve human lives and protect the environment. Member states unanimously adopted the Millennium Declaration at the Millennium Summit in September 2000 at UN headquarters in New York. The summit led to the elaboration of 8 Millennium Development Goals to reduce extreme poverty by 2050. At the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development, Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, in June 2012, member states adopted outcome document, The Future We Want, in which they decided to launch a process to develop a set of sustainable development goals to build upon the Millennium Development Goals and to establish the UN High Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development. In 2013, the General Assembly set up a 30-member open work group to develop proposal on the Sustainable Development Goals. In January 2015, the General Assembly began the negotiation on the post-2015 development agenda. The process culminated in the subsequent adoption of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development with 17 Sustainable Development Goals at its center at the UN Sustainable Development Summit in September 2015. 2015 was a landmark year for the multilateral and international policy shaping with the adoption of several major agreements. Sustainable Development Goals in India India committed for Sustainable Development Goals at the United Nations Summit for adoption of post 2015 development agenda. India, being a country rich of its tradition and culture, is committed to a sustainable path to prosperity which is rooted determinedly in the commitment to the future. The history of poverty elimination or estimation in India dates back as early as 1901 when Dadabhai Nauroji estimated poverty in the country based on the cost of subsistence diet. According to addressing and ending poverty has been part of the national agenda since independence. Globally, the focus on reducing monetary poverty was mirrored in the Millennium Development Goals target of halving the proportion of people living in less than $1.25 a day between 1990 and 2015. The adoption of transforming our world, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development by 193 countries of the United Nations General Assembly, including India, brought institutionalization focus in measuring and addressing poverty in all its forms, enshrining in its preamble the explicated under Goal 1. India's record in implementing sustainable development has been very successful. The Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act (MREGA) is being implemented to provide jobs to unskilled laborers and improve their living standards. The Government of India aims to make India open defecation free under its flagship program Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. National Food Security Act is being enforced to provide subsidized food grains. Renewable energy generation targets have been set up at 175 gigawatt by 2022 to exploit solar energy, wind energy, and other such renewable sources of energy efficiency and reduce the dependence on fossil fuel. Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation (AMRUT) and Heritage City Development and Augmentation Yojana (Hriday) schemes have been launched for improving the infrastructure aspects. India has expressed its intent to combat climate change by ratifying the Paris Agreement. The recently released Niti Aayog report on poverty in various standards is a matter of discussion, and we need to elaborate, discuss, and come to conclusion the Niti Aayog's report of the latest release. Thank you.